Yo, hi guys, welcome back to another video. So last class we had learned about how was solar system formed. Before that last video, the latest video we learned how was the black holes formed. Now going into a world famous political leader, the one and only Nelson Mandela. So as you know, he fought against apartheid for the people of South Africa. There was a lot of differences in that. So as the black people got arrested, right? So the whole jails were filled out, right? Filled out, and people were sent out of the country for exile purposes, right? So today, in that small topic and a very important one, the one and only Soviet uprisings. So what do you know about Soviet uprisings? Today's video, you're gonna learn each and everything in depth topic on it, okay? So please do like and subscribe to my video, and please do share to your family friends, okay? So please do say me what do you know about sweater pricings in the comments. So I open the comment section down below. So please do type the comments. So beginning the video in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The Soweto uprisings. The Soweto uprisings is also known as the Soweto riots, okay? So the Soweto riots was a series of demonstrations, you can say, demonstration and protests led by black students of children in South Africa during apartheid that began on morning of 16th June 1976 to the date morning of 16th June of 1976 is very important. That is the time when the soda uprising started of the students. Students from various schools began to protest in the streets of Soweto Township in response to the introduction of Afrikaans language, considered by many blacks as the language of the oppressor, as the medium of instructions in black schools. It is estimated that 20,000 students took part in the protests. They were not they were met with fierce police brutality. The police were no one but the white people, and many were shot and many were killed. The number of pupils killed in the uprising is usually estimated as 176 kills. But some sources estimate that as many as 700 fatalities. The riots were a key moment in the fight against apartheid as it sparked renewed opposition against apartheid in South Africa, both domestically and internationally in remembrance of these events. 16th June is a public holiday in South Africa named the Youth Day. Youth Day was named behalf of the name Soweto uprisings. Internationally, 16th June is also known as the Day of the African Child. There is nothing else but the DAC. So what was the causes of Soweto uprisings? Let's discuss about it. Black South African high schools students in Soweto protested against the Afrikaans Medium Decree of 1974, which forced all black schools to use Afrikaans and English in equal terms as languages of instruction. The association with apartheid promoted black South Africans to prefer English. Even the Bantusist regimes choose English and an indigenous African language as officially language. In addition, English was gaining prominence as the language most often used in commerce and industry. The 1974 decree was intended to force the reverse of the decline of Afrikaans among black Afrikaans. The Afrikaner dominated government used the clause of the 1909 Union of South Africa Act that recognized only English and Dutch people, the latter being replaced by Afrikaans in 1925 as official languages as it pretext All schools had to provide instructions in both Afrikaans and English as languages. But white South African students learned other subjects in their home language. The regional director of the Bantu Education, that means the Northern Transvaal region, the JG Erasmus, told circuit inspectors and principals of school that from 1st January 1975, Africans had to be used for mathematics, arithmetic, and social studies from Standard 5. That means the 7th grade in South Africa. According to the African Median Decree, English would be the medium of instruction for general science and practical subjects. Homecraft, needlework, woodwork, metalwork, art, agricultural, and science. This should be used as a practical subject. Indigenous languages would be used only for religious instruction, music, and physical culture. The, dec- the degree took part. The degree took part nowhere but in South Africa. The degree was resented deeply by the black population. That was the Desmond Tutu, the Bishop of Lesotho, stated that Afrikaans was the language of the oppressor. Also, organizes organizations such as the African Teachers Association of South Africa objected to the degree. Punt Jansen, the Deputy Minister of Bantu Education, was quoted as saying, "A black man may be trained to work on a farm or in a factory. He may work for an employee who is either English speaking or African speaking, and the man who has to give him instructions may be either English speaking or even African speaking. Why should we now start quarreling about medium of instructions among the black people as well? No, I'm not consulted them and I'm not going to consult them. I've consulted them. I've consulted the Constitution of Republic of South Africa. A change in language of instructions forced the students to focus on understanding the language instead of subject material. That make critical analysis of the content difficult and discouraged. Critical thinking. The resentment grew until 30 April 1976, when the children at Orlando West Junior School in Soweto went on strike and refused to go to school. The rebellion then spread to many other schools in Soweto. Black South African students protested because they believed that they deserved to be treated and taught like white South Africans. Also, very few people in Soweto spoke Afrikaans. The student from Isaacson High School, the Tibeho City Machine, known as Soweto students, proposed a meeting on 13 June 1976 to discuss what should be done. Students formed an action committee later known as the Soweto Students Representative Council, which organized a mass rally for 16 June to make themselves heard. Uprising. On the morning of 16 June 1976, between 3,000 and 20,000 black students walked from their school to Orlando Stadium for a rally protest, having to learn in Afrikaans in school. Many students who later participated in the protest arrived at schools that morning without prior knowledge of the protest, but agreed to become involved. The protest was planned by Soweto students, representing councils, that is the SSRC, Action Committee, with support from the wider Black consciousness movement. Teachers in Soweto also supported the march after the Action Committee, emphasized good discipline and peaceful actions. The city machine led students from Morris Isaacon High School to join up with others who walked from Naledi High School. The students began the march only to find out that the police had barricaded the road along their intended route. The leader of the action committee asked the crowd not to provoke the police, and the march continued on another route and eventually ended up near the Orlando High School. The crowd of between 3,000 and 10,000 students made it a way towards the area of school. The students sang and waved placards with slogans such as "Down with Afrikaans," "Viva Azania," And if we must do Afrikaans, Worcesters must do Zulu. The police said the train dogged on the protesters, who responded by killing it. The police then began to shoot directly at the students. The children's. Among the first children to be shot dead were the 15-year-old Hastings Endovu and the 12-year-old Hector Pearson, who were shot at the Orlando West High School. The photographer Sam Zima took a photograph of dying Hector Pearson and was carried away by Buzu Makubo and accompanied by his sister Antinoti Peterson, which became the symbol of Soweto uprising. The police attacks on the demonstrators continued, and 23 people died on the first day in Soweto. Among them was Melville Edelstein, who was sociologist and academic and had developed his efforts to humanitarian and social welfare projects in Soweto. Serving as deputy chief welfare officer, Edelstein instituted many projects aimed at assisting youth, disabled, poor, and marginalized communities within Soweto. He was stoned to death by mob and left with a sign around his neck proclaiming, "Beware, Afrikaans is most dangerous drug for our future." The violence escalated as bottle stores and beer halls, seen as outposts of the apartheid government, were targeted as were the official outposts of the state. Violence had abated by nightfall. Police vans and armored vehicles patrolled the streets throughout the night. Emergency clinics were swamped with injured and bloody children. The police requested for the hospital to provide a list of all victims with the bullet wounds to prosecute them for rioting. The hospital administrator passed the request to do the doctors. But the doctor refused to create the list. The doctors recorded bullet wounds as abscesses. 1,500 armed police officers were deployed to Soweto on 17 June carrying weapons, including automatic rifles, stun guns, and carbines. They drove around in armored vehicles with helicopters monitoring the area from above. The South African Army was also ordered on standby as a tactical measure to show military force. Crowd control methods used by South African police at the time included mainly dispersement techniques. Hundreds of people were arrested, including activist Connie Mofeking, who was tortured for the information. So, guys, I think so. You might have enjoyed the video on Soweto uprisings. So, it was a very interesting video, also. So, I hope you liked, you loved the video because the way I've created this video was very difficult, and the to read all this, what do you say, to learn all this and to read all this and just explain it to guys, it took a long time for me. So please do like, subscribe, and share. I hope you love this video and the information you heard was very true. So please give a hats off to the Soweto uprising students. Hats off. And thank you. Meet you in the next video. Please do like, subscribe, and share to your family, friends, and etc. Please do like and share, please, and subscribe. Bye bye.